So, we're back with part 2 of the Sean Gathright tragedy. The sweat equity. The destruction of one young man's life based on a decision that he made that impacted everyone's life. And I'm speaking of the lives of his family members, his mother, his stepfather, his cousins, his family, and friends. I said in the last video, part 1 of the sweat equity, that this man had a vastly different childhood that you're going to see in this video that I wasn't able to include in the last one. But I'm going to show you the type of environment that this man came from, the stock that this man came from, the influence that he came from, the mother, the stepfather who married the mother, the sister, are going to testify that this young man, as I indicated in part 1, did not come from what you would traditionally see from people who do this type of behavior. And I understand that every case is different, and that may be true. But in this instance, this young man came from an environment that did not, at least in my opinion, lead you to believe that this young man was forced into a life of crime and violence and death and destruction. You're going to see that this young man came from an environment that, at least from the outward appearance, was love, compassion, understanding, and in the case of the mother and the stepfather, love and discipline. I'm not going to prolong the introduction. we're going to just get into it. So the first person you're about to hear from is Sean Gathwright's stepfather. Married the mom after, getting in the military. You're going to see what manly influence that this young man had from a very early age. Take a look.
Ms. Brian Harrington, would please raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Put your hand down and you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for our court reporter?
Yes, my name is Brian Harrington, B-R-Y-A-N, last name Harrington, H-E-R-R-I-N-G-T-O-N.
Thank you, sir. And how do you know Sean Gathright?
Sean Gathright is my stepson. I also consider him as my son.
Okay. So are you currently married to his mother or previously?
Previously.
Okay. So tell me when did you guys get married, or when did you meet Sean?
I met Sean in early 2009 when we were stationed in Okinawa, Japan. He was 3 years old at the time.
Okay, so you were in the service along with his mother?
I was in the Air Force and she was Marine Corps.
So you met Sean at 3, and then were you in his life pretty consistently up until the current day?
Until 2020, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that when you divorced?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you maintain a relationship with Sean after that divorce?
Unfortunately not.
Tell me about Sean as a child.
As a child, he was very vibrant, always inquisitive about things, very good student. He always wanted to learn, even at a young age. Loved sports, particularly football and basketball. We tried to get him involved in everything we possibly could, which he took to. And just say all around a very politeful, very respectful young man. And it was it's joyous to be around him. I really do like Sean, love Sean. And so very good child.
Did you guys have a good relationship?
I would think so, yes.
Were you involved in any like discipline, or was that mostly left up to his mother?
That was left up to the mother. I had no disciplinary privileges whatsoever.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, was he, did he have a relationship while you were his stepfather with his biological father at all?
Yes, yes, they still maintained relatively good contact.
And what was Sean, how was he behavior-wise? Did he cause any problems?
Never caused any problems whatsoever.
You indicated that he liked sports, mostly football. Do you have any memories that you'd want to share with the jury about either any sports or anything that Sean did growing up that you find important or memorable?
Well, he's a relatively average football player. We tried to, get him to do everything. I tried to get him in baseball. He didn't really take to baseball, but he really did like football, particularly the Baltimore Ravens, which he referred to, and I don't mean to embarrass him, but Baltimore Raisins. And so that was always a joy to hear him talk about that. As far as basketball is concerned, he loved basketball. He always wanted to have the ball and, score as many points as possible. But a very good child growing into his teens. He maintained that drive and that motivation to be as best as he possibly could when it came to athletics.
And what about in school? Do you recall how he did in school?
He did very well in school, very smart. As a matter of fact, when we moved to Lejeune in North Carolina, we were actually trying to get him to skip a grade because he was doing so well. Very smart. And again, since I was Air Force, I was trying to get him to possibly prep for the Air Force Academy or so forth because I'm a little biased that way. But I didn't let that dissuade him at all. But he very, very good in school. I'm very proud of his grades and the way he performed.
So you have the relationship with his stepfather. From all appearances, seems like a pretty honorable man, military man, wanting to see the best for someone that he cares for, someone that he feels as though has the potential to do great things, someone that he sees ability and an opportunity to one day possibly join the military himself, and is trying to mold and shape him and shape his mind into becoming a productive member of society. And unfortunately, when his relationship with Sean's mother separated, it appears so did his relationship with Sean. Next, we're going to hear from the mother, whom at least I'll let you see for yourself.
I want to first acknowledge that I recognize this is very stressful for you and scary. I do. But the jury has determined your son's guilt. That issue's been settled. But we're not going to revisit that in front of the jury. So I just want to encourage you with regards to your penalty phase testimony. The best thing you could do for your son is just express all of the wonderful characteristics about him, okay? And how deeply you love him and how deeply he's loved by his family. This is not the time to be readdressing any of the facts of this case. All right, I just want to make sure that's clear, because I want to allow Ms. Finkelstein the chance to ask you the questions she wants to ask you and for you to relay this important information to the jury. But if we start going sideways into issues that are not pertinent to this phase of the trial, then the state's going to have to object, I'm going to have to rule, and then it just really, it lessens the impact, really.
So in other words, what the judge basically is telling this woman, a little bit of backstory. So the other co-defendant, whose trial was completely separate from the four young men who are in the penalty phase now, had her trial earlier this year. And apparently this woman, Sean Gaithwright's mother, testified in her trial as well. And there were some issues with her testimony and the way that things were being led and portrayed and whatnot. And they had an issue with it. So basically, the judge is admonishing her based on the fact that she got up here and made a comment, sort of swaying, making her opinions known about her son's innocence, essentially trying to profess her innocence, profess his innocence, excuse me. And basically, the judge is saying, hey, we're past the point of no return here. We're past the point of you trying to profess how innocent he is and what he didn't do or did do. We're past that. We're past the point of you trying to sway everyone to believe that your son did not do this or couldn't have done this or some type of issue as to not him being held liable or being held responsible for this. He did it. The jury found him guilty, and that's that. So the only reason that you're up here on the witness stand right now in front of all these people is basically to say how nice, sweet, and loving your son was in order to save his natural hide from getting a needle.
Even though that's my job is mostly to take care of Sean, but you know, he's run into the person who's like, Mom, really? And he like kind of reels me back. He's mature in that way. He's very mature.
And we've heard a lot about, you were in the military, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what branch?
I was in the Marine Corps.
You moved around a lot when Sean was younger?
We did, yes.
And how do you think that he adjusted to that?
I think it made him, he never became someone who would chase popularity or have a large group of friends. The friends that he does have, it's a small circle, and they're very close to each other. On a Friday or Saturday night, you wouldn't find him out at a club or hanging out or anything like that. You most likely find him and his 2 or 3 best friends, you know, sitting at my house talking about who knows what all night long. And I'd get, you know, wrapped up in there, and they'd have debates, and it was something that was so nice to see in, you know, young men of this day and age, where it wasn't just about music or it wasn't just about superficial things. Like, they really had real deep, meaningful conversations.
And is Nehemiah Tudor, is he one of those friends?
Yes.
So we talked to him yesterday, and he was kind of sharing some of the things that they would do. And that was when you were in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
When did you, give us kind of a time frame? We've heard about obviously traveling in the military. We've heard about living in Mississippi. When did you guys move to Jacksonville?
We moved to Jacksonville in 2016 after I retired from the Marine Corps.
2016?
Yes.
Okay, and did you stay there consistently till now, or?
Yes, yes.
Okay. At any point, did Sean move from Jacksonville?
Yes, he moved from Jacksonville. I want to say it was 2020 or 2021. He moved out to California with his dad for a while.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all.
How long was he there?
He was there for approximately, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years.
What was his relationship like with his biological father?
It wasn't a good relationship. My experience with their father, which is the main reason why we were divorced, he had a very volatile temper, and I think as Sean grew older, I don't think he was the kind of person who would see like another confident male, even if it is his son. Maybe he was threatened by the person that Sean was becoming, but in my opinion, their dad was pretty insecure. So
Did it seem to be more volatile as Sean got older, like not when he was a little kid?
As Sean got older, yes.
What about Sean's behavior? Did you have behavior issues with him? Did he have to be punished a lot?
No, Sean was such a good kid. No, he was mature. He was, so like he could be serious and really understand what he was supposed to do. It didn't mean he always did it. He did the usual kid things. You had to tell him 2 or 3 times, hey, go clean up your room, do the dishes, stuff like that. But he never made a big fuss about it. We didn't really have any arguments. And we had one argument, and I think it was more just about frustration, about trying to figure out, oh, no, here we go. So when he started college the first semester,
Where did he go to college?
he went to FSCJ. So the first semester, I paid for the first semester and everything, and he, went to, but his grades were not that good. Like he was doing, I think it was like C's and stuff like that. And I said, hey, if you don't, I was like, I'm not paying for another semester. You're gonna have to pay for it. So he started working, and he completely turned his grades around. And I was like, when you have investment in, your own thing, and mama's not paying for it, and you got to use your own money for it, I think it really gave him like a kick in the butt to realize that, hey, you gotta take this seriously when you're the one who's invested.
Where was he working to pay for school?
He worked a number of places. He worked at the Omni Hotel, one of the restaurants there up in Amelia Island. But he also did his pressure washing and photography. He did social media for a few of the clubs here in Jacksonville. He did, player highlight reels for basketball players. Like team, it was like a flag football, it was like a youth football league for a park. He did a highlight reel for that, and when the director saw the highlight reel that he did, they asked him to kind of become their overall media person. So the players would pay him like $25 to take photos of their highlights during the game, or like $50 for like a video, and he would put that together.
That was his own little business?
That was his own little business, yes.
There you have the mother whom testified about her son and his academics and his passion for sports and his oftentimes entrepreneurial spirit, wanting to start a business, being, wanting to have his way with money, wanting to get into things. A young man who was driven to make money, had skills, had the opportunity to do various things. The mother testified about that. Next, you're going to hear from the grandmother, whose testimony was very telling and riveting. I can't post the entire testimony on here because it's kind of lengthy, but you're going to hear the grandmother tell of her love for her grandson.
Phone, 'cause it's hard to hear sometimes.
Lisa Gathright,
Can you spell your name for our court reporter?
Lisagagthright.
Thank you. And Ms. Gathright, what is your relationship to Sean Gathright?
He's my grandson.
So is his father your son?
Yes, he is.
And can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Sean? Obviously, you're his grandmother, but are you close with Sean? Have you been his whole life?
I've been very close to Sean ever since he was born.
Have you been involved in his life since he was young?
Yes, his parents were both in the military and they were deployed, and there were times when both of the kids stayed with me for extended periods of time. He went to school in the town where I live, and
Where do you live?
I live in Oxford, Mississippi.
And did you live there when he was growing up as well? You've been there?
Yes.
Okay. So he would come and stay with you, live with you and go to school?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us a little bit about Sean as a child? What was he like? What was his character like? How did he behave?
He was a fun kid. He has a great sense of humor, a wonderful personality. He's just all around good kid.
Did he get in trouble?
No. He was very well liked by everyone around us. The neighbors all liked him.
How long do you think, or I know probably different time frames with the parents being deployed, but how, give us kind of an idea of how long he would be living with you, or?
Well, there had been times where they were there for a whole school term, and then for the last, like when he was in high school, he was with me for about a year and a half.
Okay. Would you spend holidays or birthdays, things like that together when he wasn't living with you?
Yes, we did a lot of traveling together on the holidays, and I was always there with him whenever I could be.
And we heard yesterday about Sean traveling overseas with some programs that he was involved in. What do you know about that?
The first time that he went, I went with him, and we went to Ireland and Scotland, and it was a wonderful, very educational trip.
Did Sean like to travel?
He loves to travel.
And how was he in school?
Very good. He made good grades. He was not any kind of a problem student or anything.
What kind of interest did he have, if you can remember? Was he into sports or music, or?
He was he liked photography. He was very into photography, and he started a couple of his own little businesses. He was detailing cars and pressure washing people's houses, and he brought his equipment with money that he had saved from jobs that he had worked.
With his parents being deployed and having to live with you and go to school and then he would leave, how did he adjust to that? Were there any issues with it?
He adjusted very well. I think he felt like my home, well, he knew it was his home, and he felt very comfortable and at ease there.
And what about your son as his father, as Sean's father? What was his relationship with him like?
Volatile.
What do you mean by that?
Physically and verbally abusive.
At what ages?
Early teens, well, probably before that.
What would he do? What do you mean by volatile? Like, what would happen?
Well, one time Sean was out in California with his dad, and his dad called me, and he was in a panic, and he said, Sean has run away. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said he went in the bedroom, and he was gone. He had opened the window, and it was a first floor apartment, and he got out, and he went to the park with his suitcase. And I called Sean, and I said, what's going on? And he told me that they had had a fight and that my son had physically abused him. And I talked to him, and I tried to calm him down, and I convinced him to go back to the apartment and stay there. And then we made arrangements not long after that for him to leave from California and come back to Mississippi or Florida. I can't remember which one.
And why did you have him go back if his father was physically abusive?
Well, I'm in Mississippi, he's in California. My son was remorseful. He's always remorseful at the time, but the behavior still continued. And I just felt like at the time that was the only thing I could do myself, is to get him to go back.
You didn't have anywhere else to go in California?
Yeah.
And was that the only time that anything happened, or did that seem to be kind of the basis of the relationship?
No, we were out in California visiting one time, and my son has another younger son, and we were at the pool, and his little brother kept splashing water on him, and Sean kept telling him to stop splashing, and even his mom told him to stop splashing. Well, he continued, and so Sean splashed water back at him, and my son saw that, and he went into a rage, and just ruined the whole time together. One time we were out there, and he physically abused his daughter. He slapped her.
Is Sean's sister Nevaeh his
Yes,
daughter as well?
yes.
Okay. Do you still have a relationship with Sean's father
No.
for those reasons?
Yes.
Do you think that that had an impact on Sean, or did he have other male role models in his life?
My late husband was a wonderful role model for Sean, and Sean loved his papa. And there was a lot of men in the church community that took Sean under their wings and tried to mentor to him. One of my neighbors, they all love Sean.
And who's in this photo?
That's Mr. Edwards, Sean's guidance counselor, and his sister Nevaeh.
Okay. And that was in London, and you were on that trip?
Excuse me?
It was in London, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And what about this one? Do you remember where that one was?
I wasn't on that trip, but that was when he went to South Africa.
With Mr. Edwards again?
Yes.
I think this might have been around the same time.
That looks like the same trip.
South Africa.
Yes,
And,
that would be the same trip.
okay. Sorry, these are all a little bit different. Is that Sean there?
Yes, that's Sean.
How old do you think he was in that picture?
Probably maybe 16 or 17.
That was 1E, sorry, I lost track. There you go.
That looks like that was in Scotland.
Did you go on that trip with Sean?
Yes.
And that's Mr. Edwards again?
Yes,
Okay. How old was Sean there approximately?
probably 15.
And that was one of those trips through the program with his school?
Yes. That looks like the Africa trip.
Because they were involved with some humanitarian work there? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. And how old did you say you think Sean was?
I think he was 16 or 17. Same there.
Mr. Edwards again? Where is this one?
That's in Ireland.
And is that Sean here?
Yes.
And then, I don't know, do you know the other people, or that was just a
I don't
photo
know
in
any
the
of those
background?
other ones.
Were you on that trip with him as well?
Yes.
How old do you think Sean was there?
I think 15.
And that was 1J. That might have been South Africa again.
I believe so.
They took a lot of photos without you, huh? What about that one?
That was on a cruise that he and Mr. Edwards took.
Where did they go on that cruise?
Down to the Caribbean. I'm
How
not
old-
exactly sure what islands they went to.
And how old do you think Sean was here?
Probably around 14.
And then this is a little bit blurry, but it's pretty in the background. Were you on this trip?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask you where you went, although it's
That was
probably
Paris.
obvious. Paris?
Yes.
And how old was Sean when you went to Paris?
I think around 16 or 17.
So a lot of these trips were kind of in the same, I know he was only at certain grades at that school, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the trips were close together in time?
Yes. I think they traveled once a year to different places.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness again?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm approaching with defense 3A through C. I'm going to show you these pictures. Do you recognize these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I did not.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit defense 3A through C and publish for the jury.
Any objection? No objection, Your Honor. Admitted.
Okay. And Ms. Gathright, who's in this photo?
Sean and I.
Okay, looks like maybe holiday time.
Yeah.
Tell me about why
That
this-
was around Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving.
Okay. And you kind of giggled when I showed you that. Was this a
Because
special
of
picture for you?
I'm not a very photogenic person. I don't like my pictures.
But you look like you're having fun.
Oh, he makes me smile.
How old do you think Sean was there?
He was probably 16 or 17.
And I'm going to show you 3B. Who's in this photo?
That was Nevaeh and Sean and their dog. He loved those dogs. He used to put clothes on them, their stepdad's clothes.
And how old do you think Sean and Nevaeh were there?
He was probably 11, 10 or 11.
Looks like there's another little dog over here. Maybe?
Yeah.
Is that your dog?
No, I had a German Shepherd.
Okay, they were all theirs. Okay. And then this last one you provided to us, we've heard a lot about Sean and his businesses. What is this?
That was when he would do detailing of cars.
And he was this like a little flyer that he would?
Yes, he made
pass
up
out?
all of his advertisements.
What would you say Sean had a good work ethic?
He had a very good work ethic. At one time, we live about 2 miles from the country club, and Sean was working there, and he would sometimes ride his skateboard. He would take the back roads and ride his skateboard to work, and it was hills and up and down. It was not an easy task.
Miss Catherine, I know your grandson, it seems like you had a pretty good relationship with him, and you said he makes you smile. What do you want the jury to know about him and his character?
He's just a very fun-loving person. He loves food. He loves to eat. We were on a trip out in Texas one time, and we were in Grapevine, Texas, and I was in a shop, and we were getting ready to leave, and the clerk asked if we had any more questions, if we needed to know anything else, and he said yes. Where's a good place to eat? And that was the kind of things that he would talk about. And one year, it was New Year's Eve, and I have a pool, and every year we have this little contest, and it's to see who was going to be the first one in the pool for the season, and then who's going to be the one that stays in the longest. So it was about 2 minutes before midnight, and Sean jumped in the pool in December in Oxford, and it was cold. And so he got out, and then about a minute after midnight, he jumped in. So his record stands. It can't be broken.
Truly sad to see this grandmother essentially reminiscing about her grandchild, who, for all intents and purposes, may not see the end of his natural life if the prosecution had their way. There's a possibility that this young man may not ever get to see the end of his natural life, because the state of Florida may execute him. That's a real possibility. And this poor grandmother is pleading, essentially. Well, let me backtrack. She's not necessarily pleading. She's giving the jury the good. Making the jury see the good in this young man. That there was once a glowing, bright young man sitting across from them, as juxtaposed to there being a ruthless, heartless killer sitting across from them that everyone in the general public knows as Sean Gathright, the man who took out Julio in a parking lot at a hotel that he stalked for days. This young man here, who is happy-go-lucky, articulate, bright, intelligent, smart, kind, resourceful. Vast difference. And finally, we're going to hear from the sister whose testimony absolutely broke my heart to have to hear.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Make sure you pull yourself up as close as you can to the microphone and just speak up if you can, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for our court reporter, please?
Nevaeh Gathright, my first and last.
Please.
Nevaehgathright.
And Miss Gathright, how do you know Sean Gathright?
He's my brother.
What's the age difference between you and Sean?
2 years.
Are you older or younger?
I'm older.
You're older, so he's your baby brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell the jury a little bit about your relationship with Sean. Have you guys always got along pretty good?
Yeah, I've never been away from Sean. We grew up together. That's my best friend.
So ever since he was born, you guys were never separated? 'Cause we have heard a lot about your parents in the military and some moving around, but did you
Yeah.
guys always stay together?
Yes, we moved a lot, but we've never been apart.
So if he would go to Mississippi or you guys would stay with grandma, you were always with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And so have you always been close?
Yes.
No fights?
Uh,
Of course.
siblings.
Tell me about Sean's character. What do you love about Sean? You said he's your best friend. What makes him your best friend?
I guess just how little brothers are. Like, they pick on their sisters. He always bothers me, but in the good way. He used to, like when we lived in Mississippi, he would come into my room and he would put on all of my sunglasses. Or like, excuse me, he used to take my little TV on my dresser and he would turn it upside down. And I'd be like, why did you do that? And he'll just walk out. I don't know why, but he's a funny person. He's sweet, he's caring. He's always there for me when I needed him.
We heard a lot about you guys got to travel
Yes,
together. What did you like about traveling with your brother?
Just the fact that I got to experience new things and see the world with him was probably it's the best thing ever.
Those good memories you can carry forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I am approaching with Defense 4, the composite A through double D. I'm just going to show you some of these, see if you recognize this composite that we've... I'm just going to show you some of these photos, okay? Just so you guys will know. Do you recognize all these photos? Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit Defense 4, A through double D, and publish a few of these to the jury, please.
Any objection?
Any objections? That's okay.
No objection.
Okay, admitted?
I'm just going to show you some of these. There's a lot, and the jury will be able to look at them, but go through some of these photos. You just tell, is that you and Sean?
Yeah.
How old do you think you were there?
Maybe like 6 and 8, I think.
And that was 4A. This is 4B.
Oh,
where,
my
where is
gosh.
this one? Where's the pantry?
It's in Oxford, in Mississippi, with my grandma. It's a food pantry. Then you can people can come and get the like low income, kind of I guess like EBT people.
Okay.
Yeah, we would stock the shelves, bag chickens, put milk in the fridge, and then people would come in and we would make a bag to give to them.
That was volunteer work that you guys did?
Yeah, for the church.
Was that through your church? Okay. Yeah. Is that you guys? Where are you there?
Sandestin, Florida, at the beach.
How old were you, you think?
I was 16, I think. Maybe I was 17, 15 and 17. That was his birthday. That was at a restaurant. It was our favorite Japanese restaurant at the time. That was his birthday.
We heard a lot about Sean liking to cook. Did he cook for you ever?
He never cooked for me
Oh.
specifically, but yeah, he was always in the kitchen. He was always making something.
And I'm going to show you 4G.
Yeah.
Is that you guys?
Mhm.
What
That
does
was.
that picture say to you?
He's just a silly, goofy little boy.
Is that kind of common of what you would do with him and see him doing?
Yeah.
How old do you think you guys were there? Or where,
I think I was 16 here. He was 14. This was the year before that last picture that he showed. This was in California.
What were you showing off here?
He was showing off his braces, but like the Kodak Glee thing that they do. That was just it.
We've heard Sean liked photography too. Did he take a lot of these pictures? Or pose for them?
Yeah.
What's happening in this photo?
He got his ears pierced at Claire's for the first time. And he was like, "Can you hold my hand?" Well, he didn't want me to hold his hand, but I made him.
But he didn't push you away either, did he?
Mm-mm.
How old was he when he got his ear pierced?
I honestly can't remember how old he was.
And that was 4J. I'm going to show you 4K. This looks like maybe a holiday.
Yeah, that was Thanksgiving at my grandma's house.
What makes you giggle?
Just the fact that he used to do stuff like this with me, like he wouldn't do this for anybody else. He wouldn't sit here and pose like that or just be silly. We call it the white girl pose. Oh.
You guys there?
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like maybe Christmas time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures of you guys just kind of holding hands and hugging. Is that reflective of your relationship?
Yeah. Oh, this was in California too.
You look a little younger there. It's hard to tell, but how old do you think you were there?
You think you were 12 in this picture? Maybe.
He was 12 or you were 12?
He was 12, I think.
Okay. Maybe traveling there?
Yeah, this is when he went to Scotland and Ireland, and I was dropping him off at the airport. They left on my birthday, though. He was sad, but it's okay.
You didn't get to go on that trip?
No, he just went with my grandma.
And where was this one?
This was in Jamaica,
What were you doing here?
hanging our clothes we had just washed
Why did you
by
have to do that?
hand. Because we don't have a dryer. They don't have washer and dryer, so you got to wash your clothes by hand, hang them up on the line to dry.
What kind of trip was that?
I think that was a family reunion. That was us in Jamaica, too.
Sigmund, okay.
Yeah.
That looks like it got cut off, but maybe London?
Yes, he had the little hat.
Yeah.
I was like, smile. He was like, the guards don't smile. Ever.
Looks like you still got a little bit out of him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then would this be his high school graduation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That was in Jacksonville?
No, he graduated
Mississippi.
Mississippi, yes.
Always been with your brother since, he was born and you guys moved around a lot together.
Yes.
How's it been without having him around to help you?
It's been hard. Being a mom, I don't really think about it as much as I know I feel it, just because I'm always doing something to take care of the kids. But like when I sit back and I really think about what's going on,
Okay.
I just miss my brother.
Will you, do you still maintain a relationship today?
Mm-hmm.
You're able to talk to him and communicate?
Yep.
And will you continue to do that?
Of course.
And hopefully in whatever way possible, could he still be involved in your kids' lives and be an uncle?
Of course.
May I have a moment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Questions? Yes, Your Honor.
This is the part that broke me. This is the part that made me sad. To see this young lady with so much strength and courage to get up there and talk about her brother, who's facing life behind bars, or possibly essentially being put down to sleep by the state permanently, was just so sad to hear. And then to see his reaction was so horrifying. Can you imagine what this young man must be thinking? This young man is thinking to himself, there's a possibility I may die by the hands of the state. And to have these memories that people are having to cherish, not in the privacy of their own home, not in the living room surrounded by family, but to have these memories laid out in order to save his life has to be terrifying for him. And as I stated previously, I don't feel bad for him. He essentially is getting the karma that he dished out the night that he decided to walk around with a loaded weapon and discharge projectiles at a car at several vehicles to try to take out one man. I don't feel sad for him because he ultimately has to own up to his responsibility. I feel sad for his sister. I feel sad for his mother. I really feel gutted for his stepfather. A man who, as I stated previously, appeared as though he made all attempts to try to get this young man on the right path, and seemed as if he was doing a good job. But circumstances with his mother altered that guidance and direction. Not his fault. Sean ultimately made the choice to do what he did. Sean Gaithright ultimately made the choice to venture into a world that he was not prepared for. Sean Gaithright ultimately made the decision to walk into a world that he was not ultimately built for. He was not built for this. And his reactions in court demonstrate so. And now to have his sister and his loved ones essentially pleading the state, pleading the judge, pleading the jurors to spare his life, and then having to wait day after day after day to find out whether he's going to essentially live or die, has to be horrifying. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for watching. I hope that the young people take this and make better decisions. I will be uploading a part 3, and I'm going to follow this until the ultimate sentence is handed down from the judge, from the jury. As of this recording, there is a deliberation going on. The jury did go to the back to deliberate. And when the verdict comes down, as far as the sentencing, as what they recommend, whether they receive the death penalty or life, I will update you and I will make a subsequent video with a reaction. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Davistar Experience.